Hello everybody, my name is Brandon Barnes, and today I'm going to share with you a little bit of a conversation I had with a client recently. So I've been working with this client for a couple months now. He's in his mid-20s, has a goal of putting on additional muscle mass, prefers resistance training exercises, and has been doing that on his own for the last year or two. Since we started working together, he said he's been seeing positive results, but not as quickly as he would have hoped, and not to the extent to which he would hope also. He says he feels like there's something that's hindering his progress, but he can't really put his finger on it. He's not sure what it is, and since he's not sure what it is, he doesn't really know how to address it, which is why he came to me. And we decided to sit down, have a conversation, try and get to the bottom of this issue, and come up with a plan of attack, figure out what we could do to help him improve. So at the beginning of our conversation, it became pretty clear that nutrition was the area he was lacking. He said he hadn't really paid much attention to nutrition. He felt like if he worked out hard, everything else would fall into place, which working out is important, but as we all know, nutrition is a big portion of that also. So once we shifted gears of that conversation and kind of dove deeper into the nutrition talk, it became clear that post-workout nutrition was something that we needed to address pretty rapidly. So he said he knew that protein was going to be important for recovery, but he wasn't sure all about why or how much he should have or all these other questions he kept bringing up. So we got through the rapid-fire questions, and then by the time that kind of subsided, we got to the point where the main thing he wanted to know was, does it matter where he gets protein from, and how much does he need after a workout? So now that we had, a little bit more of a manageable conversation, something that we could, address right away, we decided to dig into the research and see what we could come up with. So in terms of, does it matter where he gets his protein from, we decided to take it all the way back and go over the different types of protein you have. So the main three types of protein, you have whey, soy, and casein. Whey is going to be the protein most supplements are from. You always see everybody drinking their protein shake. Typically that's going to be a whey protein. They're all going to be different. They have different properties, different benefits, different drawbacks. But in terms of post-workout nutrition, he was just concerned on which one of the three should he take. What should he find? What should he go for? So we saw a study by Tang and colleagues that was performed in 2009 where they compared whey, soy, casein, and then a mixture of all three, his post-workout drinks, to see which one of those would promote muscle protein synthesis the best. And in their study, they found that whey protein promoted muscle protein synthesis better than the other two individually, or all three of them combined actually. So easy enough. From there we know whey protein, that's what he needs to be taking in. We're still left with that question of how much should he take in? Does it matter? Can he take a ton, 100 grams, 5 grams, 150? Does it matter? So we kept looking at the research, and we came up with a study from Kikiji and all of his colleagues that was performed in 2014. And the main thing that we learned out of that study was that there was what's called a dose-response relationship with whey protein, and that the results were dependent upon how much protein you take in. So that shows us that it does matter how much protein he was taking in. 5 grams isn't going to be the same as 50 grams. There was a number that we kind of needed to get to. We weren't sure how much it was going to be, so we decided to look a little bit further. After some more research, we found a study by McNaughton and all of his colleagues that was performed in 2016, and this one was actually pretty interesting because they split up their subjects who were all males. They were previously resistance trained. They had a lot of the same characteristics as my client, so we thought this would apply pretty well. And they split up all of these people into different groups. We had a group that would intake 20 grams of protein after exercise, and a group that would intake 40 grams of protein after exercise, so twice as much. All the subjects performed full body resistance training, which again, pretty similar to what my client is doing. And the authors found that the group that ingested 40 grams of protein after a workout saw much better muscle protein synthesis than the group who only took in 20 grams of protein. Both groups did see positive results, but they found that 40 grams was superior to 20 grams. This was interesting because McNaughton et al. All also found that 40 grams is better than 20, but most of the authors in other studies typically say 20 to 25 is the range you should be in, and that it'll depend based on lean body mass. However, in the study we were looking at, they saw that lean body mass was not a factor that needed to be addressed, and it only depended on the intensity of the workout. And that kind of gives us a little ballpark idea of if you're having an easy workout, then 20-25 grams might be appropriate, but a full body workout, high intensity, you're going to promote more muscle damage. You're going to need more protein to kind of make up for that muscle damage and promote that muscle protein synthesis. So once we looked at all three of these studies together, we found that whey protein is going to be the type of protein that he should be ingesting. There is a dose-response relationship, so more protein is going to be more beneficial. And from the last study, we found that that's going to depend on the intensity of exercise. So the more intense the exercise, the more protein you're going to need. And from that, my client was able to walk away knowing what type of protein he was supposed to have and how much he was supposed to have. The only issue that we kind of came up with in that conversation was he was looking for a little bit more of a direct meal plan for me to kind of plan out for him. I want you to take in X amount of protein, this amount of time after, and also this is where you should get your protein from. I want this exact meal. And it was getting a little bit into that blurred lines of a nutritionist, which falls outside of my scope of practice. So I was able to make recommendations by giving him a guideline of take in about this much protein after your workout without having to prescribe him an actual meal plan. So I hope that answers anybody's questions. Thank you very much, and have a good day.